I'm Marcus Richardson,
And I'm Nathan Hicken.
and we are mere seconds after recording the end of the Gala exhibit. What a mind-bending time. If playing through the yearbook exhibit and the summer camp exhibit kind of felt like playing through Agatha Christie novels, this felt like playing through 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hartcutt. Like this was truly a twisted tale.
That is high praise. I appreciate it. It was an absolute blast to host.
I wonder if I enjoyed it all the way through. I wonder if it was good listening all the way through, because at a certain point, I really just had to slow down and well, not necessarily slow down, but just there's a lot to put together, a lot of mysteries. It felt less like a single murder mystery and more like a mystery world.
Yes.
An amusement park of mysteries.
Lots of different things happening all at the same time, and some tie together, but some don't. Some are their own separate mysteries. But I thought you did a good job of balancing and honing in on what you wanted, because that was a worry I had. So,
yeah. What's interesting in stuff like this is there's stuff that's clearly important, but trying to figure out who is it important to, or when or why is it important. So, peek behind the curtain. Tell me a bit, what were the inspirations for this? Where did this idea come from?
Well, I really wanted to do a time loop mystery. That was always on my list, and I wanted to just the concept of playing around with 2 hours of time. That's all you have to watch a whole bunch of events, connected or random or not, play out. And I thought a great setting for that is a museum. There's different rooms, there's different players moving around.
Yeah.
And so I set up a gala, and I was like, this is great. And then I made the different players, the different cast. It's a bigger cast than I've done in the past, which was a little tricky to handle.
Right.
And initially,
I straight up forgot that Vivian was a character, and it took me 2 or 3 episodes to figure out even who Gavrelle was. I don't know.
Yeah. And initially, I actually had a couple other NPCs, but after playtesting with my sister, I was like, you know what? They don't do anything. They need to go. So
They're just muddying the waters.
Yeah.
It was helpful to call the co-attendant just the attendant, because then I was like, all right, I don't need to pick apart this guy's backstory. He's just there.
Wrong place, wrong time. So,
right.
Exactly.
So do you still write mysteries in a way where you make the players and then decide who did the murder, or did you do it differently?
So I planned out the museum, and then I built the museum first. So I mapped it all out. So I have an actual map that we can put in the show notes if you're curious.
Yes,
as
please.
To what the museum looked like. And then I created the people. So I knew I wanted a director, a patron of the arts, an explorer, security guard, and then at least someone who had some connection to you. And then I knew Genevieve was going to be in it from the beginning. So I knew I wanted her in here to kind of set up some bigger things in motion.
It warms my little nerd heart so much. So excited. So Genevieve, you don't have to say, literally replaced Vivian as far as I can tell, but she also was up to stuff herself, which was curious.
Yes. So you saw, implied that she knocked out Vivian, put her in the closet to take her place as your date, and then subsequently acquired the sanguine serpent for some strange purposes.
So she has it.
She had it when she gave
This
you...
might be our first... This sounds like a recurring character. Super exciting. Okay, some kind of cleanup questions. So what was the path of the serpent? It sounds like Julian was the one who stole it?
No. So when the lights... So immediately after Etienne fell, Genevieve's at the top of the stairs.
Oh.
She goes, steals the serpent. Then she knows about the death. Like she told you, she's like, in 5 minutes, he's
Right.
going to fall. She knows that. So while everyone's distracted, she grabs the serpent and hides it in the statuary gardens until she can
Statuary garden.
Yep, sneak it out at a less chaotic time. So
Okay. So two, not one, but two burglaries right at that time with the lights out.
yes, yeah, and at the lights out, so she's stealing. Kira breaks into the office. Nellie starts the fire in the Viking, and Margaret is breaking into the power box and stealing the sundial. While
Wow.
Julian is trying to steal the serpent. Yeah, the timeline for this is wild.
It's like a clue game where just everyone disappears at once, everyone doing something suspicious. But I almost wonder, would there have been a way to figure out who done it without like physically seeing who done it?
Yes. So there are a couple tracks that could have gone down. Again, not going down them is not a bad thing. So first of all, there was a more physical black market book that you could find. It was hidden in the Viking exhibit. That would have had Margaret's name in there as well. So it's like handwritten, not just like printed or whatnot. This is handwritten things. You also, if you'd gone into the office earlier by getting keys acquired in the security office, which I'll talk about in a hot second, you can rifle through the desk earlier. You can find the notes. You can find the incriminating documents, and you can play the USB, which again I'll mention in a second. The USB has a video of Margaret explaining how to jump into the cart. So like safety measures, like feet first, make sure to land at a 45-degree angle so you land kind of with the cart,
right?
Things like that. And so
right, these are the instructions he was following. Yep. So what did he do on the sundial?
What did he do on the dial? He wasn't super sure of the plan working, and so he reset the sundial to loop. He and Margaret knew about the sundial's looping powers because Margaret discovered it, and they're in cahoots within black market. So this was a high valuable, world-changing artifact. So Etienne messed with it just kind of as a backup in case things went wrong.
And they did. So so that's fascinating. I love that you had an actual top 5 moments of this mystery. Just the first loop was super exciting. The messing with it and going back earlier in time, that also was so wild to me because you have actual mechanics for why it's looping. It's not just because it's fun. There's like an internal logic to it to an extent. And I'm wild about that. I think we've said this before, but I love mysteries that kind of play by their own rules, so you have to learn the new set of rules.
Yes. It was super fun to see you mess with the dial because I was like, oh, here we go. It's going back. Let's go back in time.
It is also pretty fun to know that there are certain like very important or interesting things that I could have just saw first loop, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, depending on where you go, you might see certain things where you don't. You might not see anything. Like, you might solve the whole mystery without realizing Viv is in the closet. Like, that is a total valid ending.
Man. Well, so what other bodies were in the closet? You said, I mean, metaphorical bodies in closets.
Other things.
What else did I miss?
You didn't miss anything. You got the mystery, but other threads that you didn't explore. Totally cool. One is the security room. So if you go into the security room, has a keypad. You can get the code to that if you talk to Julian, who worked as a security guard at this museum once upon a time. If you had asked him about Gavril or Etienne, he would have talked about his time here. And he would tell you about a little quest that Gavril likes to send all the potential guards on to see if they're made of the right stuff and essentially to be a security guard. So he gives them 40 minutes in order to complete this quest to find. He tells them that the code of the security office is hidden in the museum. Start at the dinosaur. If you can if you can get into the security office by the end of 40 minutes, you're hired. And so there's a little puzzle loop starting from the dinosaur that I wrote out, goes into the statuary gardens, goes to the obelisk, and that's where you get the code. So
can I say that is some real restraint on your part to not try to shoehorn that in and just let it not come up, because that's so dope. That's so cool. You had that prepared. This really was an amusement park. Like, I did not ride all the rides.
No worries. But yeah, so there's
Crazy.
a little rhyme puzzly kind of journey that leads you around. So, and that would also lead you to the statue of Lao Kun. There's a plaque behind the statue that leads you to the obelisk. Also, little some more puzzly things. The handwritten black market records in the black market book was kept in the Viking exhibit in a shield right at the front. So there's the shield, there's the rock, there's a ship. Shield has 3 depictions of animals. There's a missing dial. If it has a little symbol of a river, so if you had gone and looked in the river, you'd find the little dial, put the dial in, rearrange them into the correct order by talking to Nellie, because this is the Viking exhibit was Nellie's exhibit. At the very beginning, I mentioned that the letters kind of looked odd, like there was things missing. Nellie's name used to be up there because this was her exhibit hall. Her specialty was Vikings. So talking to her would let you unlock the shield. Inside was the book.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, I'm both sad that I missed those and also kind of glad I didn't discover those last second, because that would have I would have absolutely spiraled into another hour or 2 of what's going on. How does it connect?
No, I think you did a great job of picking the most important threads and picking some divergent ones too. And I thought you had a great mix of the 3 main different mysteries with Julian's plot line, like how is Gavril collapsing? There's poison. Julian's like an expert in tropical disease. So I'll note on that. Julian is the expert in tropical disease, right? So he went to he went on the expedition with Margaret and Gavril, where he pointed out, if you had asked him about tropical diseases and whatnot, Ed showed him the handkerchief and talked to him more about it. Might have explained that he pointed out this kind of poison to the other people on the group, just to make sure that they didn't mess with it, like accidentally ingest it or touch it, because it's super powerful.
Someone on the trip would have known.
Someone on the trip. So Margaret acquired some of that substance and used it to chloroform the clerk. Julian was, I can't remember if you showed him the handkerchief or not, but if you did, you would have.
I did not show him the handkerchief. I asked him about it. I asked him about poison.
Okay. Because he would have recognized the poison used, and he would have freaked out because he knows he put that poison in Gavril's cup, and he's like, how did that get onto this? And it took out an attendant. What the heck is going on? He would have been worried he was framed for something. So
okay, so that is oh my gosh, it really was a snap discovery, and not really based on very much at all, but I was running over to Gavril, and then I was like, wait. Oh, that's right. I just said breathe deeply or something, and then I was like, hold on. Julian is watching this guy later. This guy was definitely holding 2 cups. Julian got super suspicious when I asked him about poison or about tropical such and such. So it was kind of funny. Like in the narrative of the story, I basically walked up to a guy, saw the cups, double took, and was like, drop those.
Yes, that was great. I was like, oh, he's got it. He's got to get everyone. He got the bomb. He got them. He got the fire. He got.
I didn't get the reasons why on some of them.
You saved everyone. So, any questions on Margaret's motive? There was some flubbery with the explanation, but yeah.
I didn't think there was any flubbery. Sometimes there are like Scooby-Doo mysteries where they like explain their motive, and you're like, oh, I didn't know any of that. And I felt a little bit of that, of like, I knew something was going on, but I can say with confidence it's you because I was able to like see it was you.
Yeah.
So, but the explanation of it made enough sense to me.
Okay.
I just listening to it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't shot in the dark this.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would not have guessed. You, previously not a member of the Revenant, but now are,
Yeah.
double crossed and et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, no, it made enough sense to me. I'm grateful for the convention of monologuing, monologuing villains after the
Yes.
reveal.
That was fantastic.
So Gavriel was not in on the death at all. It was
Gavriel
just
was not. So Kira Shisuke was trying to get information on Etienne and his involvement in the black market. She knew he was up to something, and she was trying to expose him. She at first tried to have an affair with Etienne. It succeeded. That's what broke up Nellie and Etienne's marriage.
whoa.
And so, yeah, she was the one who broke him up. But still, Etienne wouldn't give her any clues as to his involvement, so she dropped him and went after
Whoa.
Gavriel in hopes to, again, learn more about his black market and get some proof. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to her, she fell in love with him, and he fell in love with her, and so she told him her plan, and he was like, all right, I'm on board, but this is super dangerous. I don't want you to like get caught. I don't want you to be incriminated anyway. And so he was trying to dissuade her from breaking into the office that evening to get the papers. That was the conversation.
Gotcha. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh, that's so cool, man. Every single character had main character depth to them that I just did not. Anything else I'm missing about Gavriel? Like, just
Gavriel,
he had a heart condition.
yeah, he had heart problems. If you talk to Nellie would know him pretty well. Kira, maybe. Julian, maybe. He would know some details about, especially when he was a little younger. He had a severe heart problem, contracted some disease when he was on one of the expeditions. Came a little weaker, but he's getting stronger, and he refuses to back down from any of his responsibilities. So,
Gotcha.
going off that, if he had a weak heart, something that would knock someone out would probably do some more damage to him.
Yeah, man. Dude, this absolutely could be a video game. Like, this could be an indie video game.
Oh, I think that would be a blast. I think that'd be awesome.
And this podcast is a wonderful proof of concept. You can...
Hey.
Because, like, I can't think of a single thing within this loop that you couldn't map to a video game. Every part of it can... You just have to have some point and click mechanics, and you got to decide if the clock ticks along with actual time or with in-game dialogue choices.
Yeah, on that note, I had a clock on my phone that was programmed to be 3 times the speed of reality, and so like that's how I kept track of what the time was. So I knew.
So it was proceeding.
Yeah, it was proceeding.
I thought you were clicking through. I thought you would click through after an interaction or something.
No, so if like you walked somewhere, I was like, okay, it's gonna take a couple minutes to get from X to Z. So I can adjust the minute, I can adjust the hour. So when you went back, I was like, boom, boom, there we go. I can change how fast.
What is this on?
Model Railroad Fast Clock. WesleySteiner.com.
Why do railroad enthusiasts need a fast clock?
I have no idea, but it was super helpful for this, especially for the first
Shout
loop
out
when I
to
was
them.
Yeah, exactly. Not a sponsor, but appreciate being able, like in the first loop, being able to be like, okay, this is 8 o'clock. This is when the body drops. Boom. This is when the loop resets at 9 o'clock. Boom.
That is very cool. I guess maybe model trainists, maybe they have day and night. Like, they don't just have scale models, they also have scale time, perhaps?
I wouldn't be surprised considering the hobby. So, any other questions, lingering mysteries?
Maybe. I'll probably just ask you sometime.
Fair.
But for the purposes of this review, I think I've had some questions answered. Is there anything left that you'd like to reveal or say?
Ooh. Just that I am excited to see how the Compass and Genevieve play into future mysteries.
I'm so excited. Well, Nathan, it's always a delight. This was especially delightful, and convoluted in the most wonderful way.
Yes.
I think next up, I think I'm next.
Yes.
I'll do our next mystery. It is not going to be as sprawling as this. That's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It'll just be different. And it is the VHS exhibit.
The VHS exhibit. Oh my gosh. I love it. I'm so pumped.
Thank you to anyone out there listening. And let us know what you thought of this mystery, what you would have done differently than me, and if Nathan should totally pitch this to some indie video game developer to get it made.
Yeah, let us know other questions or reveals that you figured out. Keep us posted.
Yeah. Until then, see ya.
Till then.